Before we go any further, if you care about serious history, real survival knowledge and lessons that still work when modern systems fail, take a moment right now to subscribe to Strange History. This channel exists for viewers who want substance, not recycled myths, and what you're about to hear fits squarely into that mission. Modern survival culture loves upgrades, new alloys, lighter plastics, smarter gadgets, and endless claims that this generation's tool has finally perfected what came before. History disagrees. Again and again, the tools that actually outlasted wars, migrations, famines, and collapses were not the most advanced for their time. They were the most adaptable, repairable, and forgiving. The old survival tools didn't survive because people were nostalgic. They survived because they worked when everything else failed. Start with the knife, but not the modern tactical fantasy version. For most of history, knives were simple, carbon steel blades with wooden or bone handles. They rusted easily, but they sharpened easily too. A stone, a scrap of leather, even the edge of pottery could restore an edge. Modern stainless steels resist corrosion, but often sacrifice ease of sharpening, especially without specialized equipment. In a real long-term survival situation, the ability to maintain a blade with minimal tools matters more than factory perfection. A simple knife that can be resharpened endlessly will outlast a superior blade that becomes useless once dull. Fire-starting tools tell the same story. Today, people rely on disposable lighters and ferro rods marketed as indestructible. Historically, fire kits were redundant systems. Flint and steel worked wet, cold, and damaged. Char cloth could be made from scrap fabric. Even if one component failed, another filled the gap. Flint doesn't wear out. Steel can be reforged. Modern fire tools are convenient but brittle as systems. Once lost or broken, they're gone. Old fire tools endured because they were part of a process, not a product. Consider containers. Modern survival gear emphasizes lightweight plastic bottles and collapsible bladders. Historically, people used clay pots, wooden vessels, gourds, leather bags, and bark containers. These weren't just storage. They were multifunctional. Clay could be heated, repaired, and remade locally. Leather bags flexed, absorbed shock, and could be patched. Bark containers were waterproof and biodegradable. Plastic is strong until it cracks. Then it's finished. Old containers outlasted modern ones because they could be fixed with local materials and basic skill. Axes and cutting tools reveal another uncomfortable truth. Wooden handles dominated for centuries not because people lacked better options, but because wood absorbs shock and fails gradually. A cracked wooden handle warns you before it breaks. A composite or metal handle often fails suddenly and irreversibly. Historically, if an axe handle broke, a new one could be carved in an afternoon. The head lived on for generations. Modern tools prioritize durability in controlled conditions, but old tools prioritize recoverability under chaos. Cordage is another example where modern upgrades didn't truly replace the old. Nylon rope is strong, but it melts near fire, degrades in sunlight, and becomes slick when wet. Natural fibers like hemp, flax, sinew, and rawhide could be repaired, spliced, shortened, or repurposed. Sinew tightens as it dries, increasing strength rather than losing it. In survival terms, cordage that adapts to conditions is often more valuable than cordage with impressive tensile ratings on paper. Shelter tools followed the same pattern. Modern tents rely on specialized fabrics, poles, and coatings. Tear one critical component and, well, the system collapses. Historically, shelters were built with axes, knives, cordage, and local materials. The tools didn't need to be perfect because the environment provided redundancy. A shelter made from poles, bark, hides, or turf could be repaired continuously. The old tools outlasted modern ones because they assumed failure and worked anyway. Even navigation tools tell this story. Modern GPS units are, well, astonishingly precise until batteries die, signals fail, or software crashes. Historical navigation relied on the sun, stars, landmarks, and simple instruments like compasses and sextants. These tools required knowledge, not power. Knowledge doesn't run out. Tools that depend on understanding rather than infrastructure persist longer than any electronic upgrade. What ties all these tools together is not their age, but their philosophy. Old survival tools were designed around continuity. They assumed loss, damage, and scarcity. They were meant to be repaired, adapted, and handed down. Modern tools often assume resupply, warranty, and replacement. That assumption works until it doesn't. For modern survivalists, the lesson isn't to reject new gear outright. It's to build skill around tools that don't demand perfection. Learn to sharpen simple steel. Practice fire-making methods that don't rely on a single device. Understand how to make cordage, containers, and shelter components from what's around you. When you do that, modern gear becomes a bonus, not a dependency. The old survival tools outlasted every modern upgrade, not because they were better engineered, but because they were better aligned with reality. Reality breaks things. Reality runs out of supplies. Reality doesn't care how advanced your equipment is if you can't maintain it. If this kind of grounded, historically tested survival knowledge matters to you, subscribe to Strange History and share this with someone who still believes survival is about the newest gear instead of the oldest lessons.